Now then, it is described as being a vibrant, violent story about men, women, conflict and power, set during Northern Ireland's years of Catholic-Protestant violence. Anna Burns winning the prestigious Man Booker Prize for her fiction for her novel Milkman. Burns, the first writer from Northern Ireland to win the £50,000 prize. She received her trophy from Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall. Let's hear what she said.
Completely stunned. I feel I've been just in a dream since July, when I found out I was on the long list, in a daze. There's issues around Brexit, barriers, even sort of Trump madness. But I think I don't write it with that in mind. But honestly, I think people bring themselves to their reading and they will take from all I can do is write it and deliver it. Hope I get it published. And what's taken from it is really out of my control.
Anna Burns, the winner. Well done to her. And France 24's book critic, Cathy Clifford, is joining us here on set now. You've been making your way through this year's shortlist, haven't you? What did you make of the judges' choice, Cathy?
Yes, so Milkman wasn't necessarily the novel I would have picked from the six, but it is a really very strong novel. Anna Burns, Northern Irish author, grew up in a working-class Catholic neighbourhood of Belfast, and she really reflects the details of that community in the story through the eyes of her 19-year-old heroine, who, interestingly, doesn't have a name. She's known just as Middle Sister throughout the book, and it's an interesting technique. None of the places or characters are given names, which sort of universalises this story of coming of age in a time of conflict. Also a story of a man abusing his power towards a young woman. Middle Sister is rumoured to be having an affair with this older milkman, who's a mysterious figure. He never actually has any milk or a milk float. It's a very unique writing style and voice from Anna Burns. She almost sort of comes round sentences from the side before getting to the heart of them. A real sort of charming, banterful tone with a lot of humour in there.
OK, what would have been your pick then?
OK, so my pick would have been Daisy Johnson's Everything Under. She's actually the youngest ever author to make it onto the shortlist, and this is only her first novel, but I was very, very impressed with it. It's the book just really crept inside my head, and I was submerged into this sort of watery, weedy world because it's set on within a marginal community on the canals somewhere in England. It's a story of a girl who's abandoned by her mother at the age of 16. She later tracks her down to find her with dementia, and she's sort of trying to coax out what happened back then from her mother, and the telling is really steeped in fairy tale. The two women have made up their own language. They fear this sort of mythical creature called the Bonak, which hangs over the story ominously.
Very ominous.
I can't recommend it enough.
OK, sold that well to the audience. Tell us about the other finalists.
So we have The Mars Room by Rachel Kushner, a very gritty story about life inside a California woman's jail, full of fantastic research. I enjoyed that one. The Overstory by US author Richard Powers, more of a traditional Booker Prize pick. Beautifully written, long and complex, a cast of 9 characters plus a whole lot of trees, because the central theme here is trees and environmental issues. So again, I enjoyed that. Another one I was reading on the Kindle, Washington Black by Canadian author Essie Udigan, told from the point of view of an 11-year-old slave who escapes to safety in a hot air balloon. Fantastic adventure story, but with some really deeper layers on identity. And finally, Scottish poet Robin Robertson, The Long Take. This is a long narrative poem which cross-cuts prose, photos, maps. It's about a D-Day veteran moving across post-war American cities.
Wow, so many good books. Tell us more about the prize itself, because there's been quite a lot of criticism of it, hasn't there?
Yes, indeed. It's a glitzy prize. It's the very prestigious, a bit like the UK's version of the Oscars for literature. It began in 1969. The book is infamous for its drama, for its infighting, gossiping, and some in the UK's literary sphere are still angry over the decision in 2013 to open up the prize to all books written in English and published in the UK, which some saw as a means for the prize to be sort of taken over by US authors, saying that the Man Group, Booker Group was looking out for its commercial interests instead of for Commonwealth literature. Critics also saying the prize no longer has the power it used to over book sales, and no longer a reliable compass as to what readers are really connecting with.
And just in a couple of seconds, they opened it up this year, though, didn't they?
Yes, the long list was really celebrated as widening the field. For example, the first time a graphic novel was in the running, first time a crime novel was in the running, 5 millennial novels. But this in the shortlist, most of that was cut back actually.
OK, Cathy, thank you very much. Good to have you with us here on set. Our book critic Cathy Clifford going through the Man Booker Prize winner.